Welcome, beloveds. It's always such a blessing to see you popping in as you begin to come into the soul field with me. And I'm welcoming also all of you who are joining us via recording in the eternal now. I'm going to begin by lighting a candle. Today I have a candle that has 3 wicks, so that feels pretty special. The Trinity of light, here we are. And we'll begin by just taking a moment to come in with intention, to come into this sacred space, to come into this sacred now. The soul field is quite literally the place where our soul is primary. And this particular field that I'm calling the soul field, and not by choice, but by that's what Spirit said to call it. This space is kind of sanctuary. You can think of it like you're entering into a temple, because it is a temple. It's an etheric temple that is set aside for our highest evolutionary trajectory. And when you intend to come in, you'll feel it. I almost feel it like I'm going down a water slide and entering in. There's just this sense of like coming into a space, and it's physical and etheric, and it can be felt and sensed. And so as we come in together, we take a moment to calibrate into our own breath, to calibrate into the blessing of coming together. Because we know this, there is an amplification of our light when we come together in this way with the intention to connect. And so we feel that amplification. And we allow ourselves to release anything that we don't need, any ideas and thoughts about what's next, anything that's no longer serving. And we do that very simply by bringing awareness to that place about a foot above the top of the head, the portal to the temple of divine perfection. And there's this beautiful golden stream of light and the golden etheric temple of light that is literally our energy recycling center in this universe. And so you simply allow those things to lift off, in particular, things that were never yours in the first place. Sometimes when we have sacred connection, people inadvertently give us the things they don't know what to do with because we have a place to send it. And so we simply send it there to be renewed, refreshed, reworked. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all beings. And so it is, we are a living witness of divine grace. And today we continue with our series on sublimated mind, Filament-First thinking. And our focus today is the peace that surpasses understanding. The peace that surpasses understanding. We'll dive into that more. But to prepare ourselves to really allow our biospiritual systems to start to open to the holy codes that are here for us in these teachings, in this transmission, we'll begin with our affirmations. We tap either at the thymus on the sternum, or we rub one or both of the earlobes all the way around. These two methodologies activate the body so that the words we're speaking actually come in. We have Denise as our sacred temple tender today, so I'll lead and she'll repeat with all of you our affirmations. I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
Actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
I choose moment to my moment, moment by moment, to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
And one last time, let's really feel it as we speak it. I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I actively release any mental programming that distorts the wisdom flowing through my sovereign sacred connection.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
I place my mind in the divine embrace so my sovereign sacred connection may purify my thought field.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
In service to my unfolding soul, I give my mind the job of sacred receptivity.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
I choose moment by moment to lead with soul and activate the divinity of my brain for the benefit of all.
Mm. Feeling it, that the body is changing, that it's preparing, that it's becoming ready to receive. As we're working with Sublimated Mind, as a refresher, and for those of you who maybe haven't had a chance to listen to the introduction to this series, we're really talking about mind in service to soul. And we can imagine, I was given this image, I'll refresh you all, of like a little cartoon brain that was me with hands and feet. And that brain was literally bowing down to the sacred, like literally going like this. And so, this is what we're doing in this series. We are inviting and facilitating our mind to be in service to, in devotion to the unfolding of soul. We have a cultural emphasis on mind, and the mind is very programmed, and we are programmed to place the mind in the highest position. And this series is really about helping us unwind that and place the sacredness of our eternal light and the connection that we have to the source of all light as the highest place. And we're placing the mind in service to that. It's literally becoming refined and purified by. Today, we're talking in relationship to sublimating the mind about the peace that surpasses all understanding. These words were actually given. They definitely come from my Catholic upbringing, but they were given to us and really given to us to begin to pull apart the distinction between our drive towards comfort and peace and ease that is beautiful. But that drive towards comfort, peace, and ease, that is more of our programmed mind, our egoic mind, versus the drive towards peace, ease, and comfort that is our soul level calling. We have a soul level calling. We desire holy harmony. We desire the experience of living in sacred peace. But we've been taught, and partly that's through our acculturation, partly that's through life experiences and what happens when we experience difficult things, traumatic things without proper support and sacred connection. We grasp at trying to maneuver the outer world, to control the outer world through what our mind understands at any given moment to create that safety, to create that peace. When we do that, we are grasping for what we have known rather than opening to what is available. So we're talking superficial comfort, superficial understanding, the illusion of peace versus sacred comfort, divine understanding, true and holy harmony that sits within us. When we are in that space, life can happen around us in all different kinds of ways, and we still have an anchor, and that anchor becomes the place that is true comfort, soul level comfort. We've all touched this place. We've all touched this place. Sometimes it's through deep prayer or meditation. Sometimes it's through a sacred connection that we have with someone where we feel just at ease all the way at the level of our bones. We practice, like we do sacred practice. We come into space like this together to begin to strengthen and amplify our capacity to feel what that feels like, what it feels like when we're in soul level communion and at peace with ourselves because we are living our sacred callings. We are living true to what we are being urged to do and be from the wisdom of our eternal light and our connection to Source. In order to live that way, though, we have to allow for the death of our ideas about what will bring us comfort, what will bring us peace, what will have us have understanding. We literally have to be willing to let those things fall away. There's a time in my life that I want to share about, and it spans maybe a time frame of sort of maybe 10 years from 17 to 27. And it's really a story about the distinction between what our mind can conceive of as comfort and what is true in the divine comfort. So it's like I'm giving you a little story to anchor the teachings, and then I'll speak about the teachings a little bit more. When I was young, I was blessed. Some of you probably have heard this story. I was blessed to have the kind of spiritual foundation because of my schooling and where I was blessed to go to church that really encouraged the unique and sacred connection that we all have. And teachings from the priests and the nuns, like you all have a sacred calling. There's something you're here to be and do and experience. And so there was this prayer in my everyday life as a child of like, show me my calling. What am I here to do? Who am I here to be, etc. It was part of my everyday life. And when I was 17, my grandmother broke her back and she was in a lot of pain. And one night in the privacy of my bedroom, my childhood bedroom, I was praying for her and I felt guided to get the holy water that I had and put it on the palms of my hands. The reason I was guided to do that is because all through my childhood, when I would pray in church, we would often pray open-handed. I would feel this amazing frequency coming into my hands. It was the love of the divine coming into my hands. I felt Christ coming into the palms of my hands and just filling me up. And then my love and devotion would flow out of the palms of my hands. And it was this sacred exchange that was just part of my experience. I didn't understand it to be a unique gift. I kind of thought that's why people prayed like that. I kind of thought everybody was having that experience. It was only later in life that I understood it wasn't so. So I take the holy oil and I put it on the palms of my hands and I spontaneously put my hands in the direction of my grandmother's house. And I'm just sending that love of Christ that was coming to me, through me, to her, and tears are pouring down my face. And I didn't know what a heart chakra was or what energy was or any of these things at that time, but my heart got on fire, like literally flames. And I understood those images that I had seen as a child of seeing the Sacré Coeur, the heart of Jesus, the heart of Mother Mary with flames, because my heart was on fire. And I felt like I was there for hours. I don't know how long it was, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Time was lost because I was so in the soul field. And when I was done, I sat with my hands open and I heard the loud, booming voice that I sometimes hear of the divine speak to me. And it was an imperative. You are to use your hands to heal. And it was so loud and so powerful. And I was weeping, but I was also terrified because the only mental conceptualization I had of what that meant at the time in my very conservative, tiny bubble of spirituality was some like on TV evangelical healer kind of coming up to someone and putting their hands on their head and putting them to the ground. You are healed. And I was terrified of that. And I was like, oh, no. And so I spent 10 years quietly healing, bringing this energy. I didn't even know the word energy to me, to my husband in the middle of the night, to other people until I was on my way to my internship and I was working with adolescent, juvenile delinquent, that was the term then, children, particularly boys. And it was a tough group of kids. I was working in an area of town where most of these kids were part of gangs, and they were there in therapy with me because it was mandated, not because they were choosing it. And so they were quite resistant. And I'm sitting my first day on a chair with arms. So my arms are down low, but my hands are like this. And I'm starting to have this conversation with this young man, and my hands turned on. And I simply turned them in the direction of this young man very subtly. Like, I don't think he understood or knew. And I certainly didn't understand or know what was happening. I just knew to do that. And I watched as his defenses softened. I watched as he started talking about what was real and actually like got tears in his eyes. I watched him spontaneously, without me prompting it, start bringing in the spiritual aspect of his life. And then I had it happen with the next client and the next client. And so I'm driving home from my internship and I'm crying now because what I had wanted, my idea of comfort, was limited by what I could understand. And so the part of me that had desired so much to hear the call almost rejected it when I got it because my mind thought it would be uncomfortable, because my mind couldn't even understand it. And it certainly didn't bring me peace. But in that moment in the chair with the clients, I felt the peace that surpassed all understanding. And I'm driving home that night in my car, and the car is filled with so much light, and I'm weeping, and I'm saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that how could I resist just because I didn't know? How could I doubt that your plan is so far beyond what my mind can understand? And this is how it is with the divine peace, with what we are called to. Our sacred callings, and there are many in this lifetime, cannot be understood at the time they are given by our cognitive mind. There's no way for us to fully wrap our mind around who we are, what we're up to, and the way that the sacred wants to move through our life to bless us and to bless everyone we come in contact with. We can't understand it ahead of time. So, what we must learn to do is to register that. I can't understand this. And to actually let go of that drive to figure, to know, to understand, to let go of the programming in our mind that says that's going to be scary, right? That's what my 17-year-old said. That's going to be scary. I don't want to do that. People will think I'm weird. They won't like me. I'll be rejected. All the things, right? I mean, the list could go on and on and on of all the things that were there running through in that moment and in the many moments that followed. And I had no blueprint. I didn't know that it was a thing people did. I didn't know people healed with their hands. I'd never heard of Reiki or energy or anything like that. And actually, probably back in the day, 1989, lots of people, most people hadn't heard of any of those things, right? So time had to evolve and I had to grow and the circumstances had to come into form. So what was needed was a mental spaciousness. What is needed in those moments where we're seeking peace, but we don't know how to find it, is to actually let our mind go quiet, to quiet our mind, to actively create mental quieting and mental purification. Last session, we did some EFT tapping. We're going to do that every time in this session because mental purification is part of sublimated mind, releasing the programmed mind so that we can open into the sacred, so that we can drop into sacred trust, because that's a requisite. One thing I had going for me when I was 17, even though mentally I couldn't understand and fear came over me, is I trusted. I deeply, deeply trusted. So I kept being with it and I kept listening to the callings. It's how I ended up getting a PhD in clinical psychology. It's how I ended up sitting in that room with those children because I listened and I followed. And there's a beautiful story about how I ended up understanding and coming to my teachers who were meant to teach me in San Diego. And that's a story for another time, just out of the interest of staying with what we're on here today. But there is a divine design that unfolds it all over time. And our trust, our continued yes, even if we can't completely quiet our mind, that keeps us moving. That curiosity that keeps saying, like, okay, you've heard me say this, show me, guide me, lead me. I don't understand, but I'm a yes, right? The stance of openness, the willingness to not know, but to allow for the arising and the unfolding over time. This is a bowing in sacred reverence, in sacred surrender, in sacred gratitude, in sacred acknowledgement. This is soul centering. So when we feel our mind get busy and we're grasping for what we think will make us comfortable, for where we think we'll find peace, for how we think it needs to happen. This happens often in relationships. My relationship will be good and well when they become different. If they were only like this or that. And so then we go about trying to make them like this or that in whatever way we're doing that. The divine design is that they are like that, however that is, to help you come into sacred center, to help you come into sacred surrender, to literally and metaphorically put you on your knees so that you will receive the grace that wants to transform you and the relationship and them, that wants to transform your relationship with everything in your life and bring it into a state of harmony. That doesn't mean challenging things don't happen. Harmony is not always like beautiful roses. All you have to do is go to a symphony and sit there and understand that harmony is sometimes super intense and almost cacophonous, but it is, in fact, so, there's ups and downs and there's rides along the way. It's not monotone. Peace does not mean the absence of agitation. Peace means the efforting and movement toward true harmony, toward right relationship. And right relationship for mind is our mind bowed down to the sacred, is our mind purified by the sacred. And in that place, we come into a peace that doesn't even make sense. I know many of you have had this experience, something happening in the outer world that you think should ruffle your feathers in a really, really big way, except you're not ruffled. You have a peace about you that doesn't make sense. And that's because you are in the sacred flow and you have a level of communion and trust and you have a knowing that's not cognitive. It doesn't mean I know how this is going to unfold. The knowing is something beautiful or aligned is occurring and you feel it viscerally, even though it doesn't make sense out there. We've all had that experience here in this circle because every one of you here has done the kind of work that has allowed for a moment like that, at least one, probably many, to arise in your life. The peace that surpasses understanding. And I guarantee you, the more you move into alignment, where the mind is bowing down to the soul, receiving sacred guidance and moving in the direction that you're guided, taking those risky, outer world risky, but not soul level risky steps, there is a place where you come into, no matter what's occurring, I am at peace because I'm resting. And it means letting go of what you think comfort is. It really means letting go of that. So I'm going to pause the recording. For those of you who are watching via recording, I invite you to go ahead and take a moment and reflect. What I want you to reflect upon is, where have you been trying to control to have a surface level comfort in your life where you're really needing to let go even more, where you're really needing to open even more, where you're needing your mind to purify so that you can receive sacred guidance. After we have some juicy discussion, I'm going to bring a couple of those pieces in so they're in the larger field of the recording. One of the pieces is the place where we can feel the soul calling. We know it. We see how life is trying to unfold for us, but our mental ideas of where pain has been in the past that are afraid try to grip to what's known and comfort. And we can see that when we do that, sometimes it actually interferes with what's trying to happen out there, right? So this is a huge part of why we're sublimating mind, because the mind is the thing that can get in the way of the highest divine unfolding that wants to happen for us. It is the thing. There's really nothing else. Our programmed mind, our mind run amok, our mind that thinks it has to be in charge and figure and know that's the one. But it takes courage. It takes courage to do what needs to be done. Someone said they've been sort of eating their emotions, and sometimes it's really hard to feel what's there. It takes courage to have the experience of feeling the emptiness that might be there or the sadness that might be there. But those feelings, if we make proper space for them, right? So that might be calling a dear friend and saying, like, I've got something going on and I need a space held for me. It might be coming into meditation. It might be journaling. It might be moving for you, but making space to allow those emotions, because the emotions will cause us to try to grasp for comfort if they're not processed. When they're processed, they become fuel and information. They allow us to open and to live the life that we're here to live. But it's hard sometimes. So the courage to set up the space for ourselves, right? And the willingness to allow the divine unfolding and knowing that it looks different, that it has these twists and turns that later on we see were essential. But in the moment, we don't understand why they're happening and they feel like a thing in the way. And the impulse there is to be discouraged or to start then to try to control what we can control, to try to create the comfort right now, rather than understanding and opening to, like, okay, there's a bigger piece, there's a greater harmony here. How am I to be with this moment? What support do I need for this moment to allow me to continue opening? We're going to begin together to release some of these ways that our mind pulls us back from our sacred yes, that our mind keeps us in this sort of lower level places of ease and comfort and peace. The the temptation that's not the true peace, that's not the true divine gift that's there for us. We're going to do a little tapping sequence, and then we're going to go straight from our tapping sequence into a meditation. So we're going to do a little purification of mind, and then we're going to really open together. Then I will play our song for this series. And this song is a little upbeat. Sometimes we have these sort of more kind of soothing songs. And I want to invite you, if you're in a scenario where you can and you feel like it, to move a little bit, to let your body groove a little bit. Like in the airport over there, we got someone joining us from the airport. Let's do some grooving in the airport. Um, if that's not your vibe, that's okay. But if it is, I want you to give yourself permission, because movement of our body is movement of the energies that need to move. And so you might actually feel compelled to do that. Maybe you just tap your feet or wiggle a little bit in your chair. That's fine too. But let yourself if you feel called. We begin our tapping by uncrossing the legs. We're going to have the legs uncrossed. I think all of you here live with me know the tapping points. Those of you who are joining in the Eternal Now, if you have never done EFT, you'll just follow along with us, tapping your body where I tap. Denise, I'm going to have you unmute if you're willing. And if it feels aligned, I'm going to speak some things. And if it feels aligned, you can repeat what I'm tapping. And I invite you at home, those of you who are here live and in the recording, to speak those things out loud as well. Okay. So I'll say it and then you say it. That's how we'll do it. And Denise will sort of say it with you all. So I'm going to start by tapping the side of hand point. Even though I want to create the surface level comfort,
Even though I want to create the surface level comfort,
because I don't want anything to feel uncomfortable.
because I don't want anything to feel uncomfortable.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself.
Even though I want to create the surface level comfort,
Even though I want to create the surface level comfort,
because I don't want to have any discomfort at all,
because I don't want to have any discomfort at all.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
Even though I have this strong impulse to create surface level comfort,
Even though I have this strong impulse to create surface level comfort,
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
I completely and totally love and accept myself.
Tapping at the eyebrow point. I just want to be comfortable.
I just want to be comfortable.
I just want to know what's going to happen.
I just want to know what's going to happen.
I want to feel safe.
I want to feel safe.
And I think if I can control everything, I will feel safe,
And I think if I can control everything, I will feel safe,
which is pretty overwhelming.
which is pretty overwhelming.
Outer eye point on the eye socket. All these thoughts,
All these thoughts,
all this effort
all this effort,
to find peace,
I find peace.
all these mental ideas about what that looks like,
All these mental ideas of what this looks like,
all the ways I think I have to know.
all the ways I think I have to know.
Under eye point. What if I can't see it?
What if I can't see it?
That feels really scary to me.
That feels really scary to me.
What if it doesn't go my way?
What if it doesn't go my way?
What if it feels really icky for a moment
What if it feels really icky for a moment
or lots of moments?
or lots of moments?
Or I get stuck there in the icky
Or I get stuck there in the icky
and there's no way out.
and there's no way out?
Under nose. What if there's no way out?
What if there's no way out?
What if I'm always going to feel deeply uncomfortable?
What if I'm always going to feel deeply uncomfortable?
And the only thing I can do
And the only thing I can do
is have some temporary relief.
is have some temporary relief.
All the ways I reach for temporary relief.
All the ways I reach for temporary relief.
Underlip, all the ways I'm addicted to temporary relief.
All the ways I'm addicted to temporary relief.
And blocking
I'm blocking
my true peace.
my true peace.
Under collarbone, all the ways I'm blocking my true peace.
All the ways I'm blocking my true peace.
All the ways I'm afraid of my true callings.
All the ways I'm afraid of my true callings.
All the ways I think I know better than the divine.
All the ways I think I know better than the divine.
And so I better just take care of it.
So I better just take care of it.
And instead of open hands, open heart,
And instead of open hands and open heart,
I control,
I control,
I disconnect,
I disconnect,
I avoid,
I avoid,
I go to sleep.
I go to sleep.
Underarms. It's so much work.
So much work.
to maintain this temporary comfort
to maintain this temporary comfort
and resist the deeper soul level comfort
and resist the deeper soul level comfort
and resist the soul level callings.
and resist the soul level calm.
But my mind is so convinced that I can fix it.
My mind is so convinced that I can fix it.
This mind is so convinced.
This mind is so
It
convinced.
doesn't want to bow down to anyone.
It doesn't want to bow down to anyone.
It doesn't want to bow down to my soul.
It doesn't want to bow down to my
It
soul.
doesn't want to bow down to the sacred.
It doesn't want to bow down to the sacred.
I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
Letting your arms rest. Taking just a moment. Letting that move. And letting the eyes close. Feeling the body. You might feel the vibration in the body, feeling the body. Feeling what's trying to leave, the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. There's a vibration that's leaving you, and you let it go. With the simplicity of your intention right now, you're letting all of that go. And you take a deep cleansing breath, and that breath brings you into this sacred moment. It drops you down into the low belly. And you begin to register that you are held in a divine and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. And that you have a sacred connection, a filament of light that is beyond concept connected to that sacred source. It's beyond religiosity. It's beyond dogma. It's beyond right and wrong. It's beyond anything your mind can understand, but you are plugged in there. And with intention, you let yourself feel that linkage. And with each breath, you amplify that light, remembering that you are also that light. And that you get to choose to let that light be the predominant energy in your life, in your body, in your mind. And you make that choice right now. As you make that choice, you let that light become what is vibrating in every cell, in every molecule in your body. And you receive this music as medicine, as support for that becoming.
On here hear my own heart speak. I walked through nights that shook my footing, looking for something steady in me. Life doesn't ask before it tests us. It shifts the ground, it breaks the flow. But even when I lose my balance, there's something in me that still knows how to heal. And even if the road looks unclear, I don't need answers yet, I just need the courage to take the next step. Live without fear, begin again. Let go of what I can't defend. Live without fear, release the past. Trust that this moment won't collapse. Even if it hurts, even if I fall, there's a light rising through it all. Live without fear, begin again. I've learned my scars are not my limits. They only prove that I survived. Every wound can grow new meaning when I start running from what's inside. Not everything breaks to end us. Some things break to show the truth. What no longer fits my spirit, and what my heart must learn to choose and protect. And even when I can't see ahead, I know what I can hold. My peace, my breath, my inner voice, and how I speak to my soul. Begin again. Let go of what I can't defend. Live without fear, release the past. Trust that this moment won't collapse. Even if it hurts, even if I fall, there's a light rising through it all. Live without fear, begin again. In the dark there are hidden doors. They don't open through force or control. When I stop fighting the silence, I hear the truth inside my soul. I reinvent without demanding perfection. I start small, I start real. I'm not what broke me, I'm the courage to feel, to breathe and heal. Live without fear, begin again. With open hands, with open chest. Live without fear, step into now. Trust where the ground is forming out. From every shadow, a clearer view, a new direction breaking through. Live without fear, begin again.
We're going to quickly complete our time together today. Denise is going to share our announcements.
We are so grateful that you've chosen to spend a bit of your precious life to be in sacred presence with us in the soul field. If you'd like more information, transformational support, links to our YouTube collections, to have soul filled events populate on your calendar, or to share soul filled with like minded beings, you can go to soulfield.org. Without your donation and tithing generosity, soul filled would simply not be possible. Deep bows to those of you who continue to make soul field a regular part of your spiritual gift giving. We are thrilled to have many of you joining us in the eternal now via recording. Please remember to like and comment on our videos and to follow our YouTube channel. Thank you in advance for helping us find others, helping others find us. We have some changes to our normal calendar due to death in Luminaria's family and subsequent travel. The first soul-filled experience, the first soul-filled experience and soul-filled meditation of May will be canceled. So our next live meditation is the third Wednesday, April 15th at 5:10 p.m. And our next soul-filled experience is the fourth Sunday in May, May 24th at 11 a.m., both Pacific time via Zoom.
Thank you so much, Denise, for being our sacred temple tender today. And thank you, everyone, for being with us. It's such a blessing, as always, to get to be together in this way. We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings. And so it is. Thank you so much, beloveds. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.